Welcome to the Cult of Domesticity podcast, a podcast about history, true crime, and whatever life brings us. I'm Courtney, and every week I am joined by another fascinating person. Let's see what we're going to talk about this week.
We're back with Linzi from 33% Pulp. Thank you for returning from our short break in our recording session.
Happy to be here.
Now that you've told your story, it's my turn to tell my story. Have you heard...
I'm so excited.
Have you heard of Mary Vincent?
I have, I think my first contact with Mary Vincent, in terms of hearing her story, is My Favorite Murder, I think. And then I think someone else might have covered it, but that one was, what I remember, because, God, fuck, this story is just so crazy. How can you forget, some of the visuals and what she went through?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I mean, it's a horrible story. It's a horrible story. I don't mean to, it's not good.
It's not good, but it's a dramatic story, and it's actually has a happy-ish ending, so for any true crime lovers, it's a rarity. So.
Right.
Going to be telling the story of 15-year-old Mary Vincent. She was a promising dancer. She had already worked the front stage at the Lido de Paris in Las Vegas, as well as touring in Australia and Hawaii, so she's already off to a good start for a career in dance, which is hard enough. So it was an afternoon in Berkeley, California, close probably to you, and it was the 29th of September in 1978, so think back to what's happening in the 70s. We're in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary has decided she's running away from home. Why? Well, like most children of the late 70s, her parents were going through a divorce and she just wanted to be alone. And she's like, I'll go to LA. I'll hitchhike from Berkeley to LA. So she's sticking her thumb out, and a blue van rolls and stops. And behind the wheel is a former merchant marine seaman, Larry Singleton. And he looks like he would be your average grandfather. And he agrees to drive Mary to Interstate 5. And she goes, okay, I do not know California's highways, so I'm assuming this is on her way.
Yeah, I-5 goes up and down the California. Yeah, it goes directly. It's a good route. If you weren't with Larry Singleton. I didn't realize he was older. Okay, so I'm excited. Yeah, to hear the rest of the story, because there's details that I obviously don't remember.
Yeah, so he's like a balding, middle-aged man who kind of looks like a grandfather with a generous beer belly. Well, the reason why he got kicked out of the Merchant Marines was because he was a heavy drinker who had been convicted of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They don't say what the delinquency was, but I'm assuming drinking and probably some not good things. While he's nice enough sober, he gets a little mean when he drinks. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. And his wife, Shirley, divorced him in 1971. And he got rejected by a nurse, Mary Collins, in 1976. And so after he got divorced in 71, he got together with Mary Collins, a nurse, in 76, and their marriage fell apart after 2 years. Although they remained friends, so that's rare.
Yeah. Especially for someone with a drinking problem who gets,
violent, yes.
Evil.
Yes.
Also, I looked him up, and his eyebrows, man.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Those are intense eyebrows.
They're very, very intense. So, adding to this storm in 79, Larry had fought fiercely with his daughter, Deborah, who didn't like his attempts to be the disciplinarian of the family, and he was still upset. His ex-wife, doesn't say which one, said he just didn't seem to find any sense in living. Solid man to pick you up. But she doesn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
So they approach Interstate 5 and Singleton continues to drive. Well, Mary is a naive girl for all her world travels and doesn't realize this because Singleton tells her he wants to stop at his house near San Francisco to pick up some laundry, and she agrees to help him tote the bundles into the van. That's not weird.
Not a good idea.
It's not weird.
Not a good idea.
Never. Yeah. Anytime you're getting a ride somewhere and someone's like, I need to make a stop, if it's not like to McDonald's or fast food place, no.
Yeah, it's like not a neutral place. It's his fucking house. It's not a good idea. It's not on the way either. If you're going to like the 5 and you're in Berkeley trying to go to LA and he wants to go to San Francisco, it's not on the way. I don't think, anyway. I'm not Northern California.
I don't know California geography at all, so you could tell, if I were her in a situation, I'd be like, yeah, this seems right.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right.
So, on top of this, Singleton begins drinking from a milk carton filled with liquor as soon as they were back on the road, which sounds so gross.
Did you say milk carton?
Yes.
That's fucking disgusting.
Right? Did he rinse it out? He seems like the kind of alcoholic that wouldn't rinse it out, says the girl drinking whiskey and Coke. Actually, let's see. It is cola time.
You gotta have some standards. Like, whiskey and Coke is totally fine, but from a milk carton that you've, like, reused is a little different, I think.
Nope, I got a plastic cup. It's all good.
This is after me talking about the Donner Party, and they're like, they have nothing, and I'm like, no. You cannot reuse a milk carton.
They would have loved a carton of milk. Yeah, I feel like whiskey plus milk, it's probably not good whiskey either, so it's probably just, oh gosh.
Oh my god, yeah.
You're in that situation, it's not good. On top of this, Mary falls asleep, because she trusts him. She wakes up.
Right.
And, Singleton's voice has become, I guess, more aggressive because he's probably hammered at this point. He's probably finished his milk carton of whiskey. I'm sorry, it didn't say what kind of liquor. I just put my own drink of choice in there. And Mary looks out and she's like, what the hell? The roadsides basically are saying they're going towards Nevada, which is, I'm gonna guess, wrong.
No, that's very wrong. Yeah, because the 5 goes like north and south. If they're going to Nevada, they're going east. It's completely wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so Mary is like, fuck, I gotta get myself out of this shit. So she's feeling around, trying to, like, I guess I'm gonna put words in her mouth, be like, kind of figure out like how to do this sneakily. She finds a long pointy stick and brandishes it at Larry. She says, I can take care of myself. Turn around right now. And she did as he ordered. Or he did as she ordered. And he told her, I'm just an honest man who made an honest mistake. I'm not gonna hurt you. Anytime someone says they're not gonna hurt you. No.
Yeah. No. Also, where did she find the stick?
On the side of the car. She was like feeling around her seat. Just a long pointed stick.
Huh. Dangerous.
So, a few miles down the road, Singleton pulls the car over and tells Mary that he needs to use the bathroom and can't wait for the next gas station. Mary, for some fucking reason, is still trusting him and gets out of the car to get a breath of fresh air. She's tying her shoelace. Singleton crept up from behind and hit her in the head with a hammer, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's very scary. Because,
like, he had gone and gotten, like, a hammer from the back or something.
Or he had one on, like, in the side pocket or something. He knows where, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
So he, with one hand, slides open the van door and shoved her inside and said, don't scream or I'll kill you. He has Mary lying on the back of the van with her hands tied behind her. Begins sexually assaulting her. Once he is finished, he left her on the floor of the van, heaving himself, naked, by the way. He's naked now, into the driver's seat.
Like, full on?
As the article I found said, heaving himself stark naked into the driver's seat. And I'm just like, oh,
okay.
No, there's extra visuals I didn't need. And drove a few miles down the canyon road before stopping again. He cut Mary's hands loose, and told her he would set her free if she obeyed him. Again, this never happens. They never set you free.
No.
He gave her a cup of liquor and said, drink it or I'll kill you. She drinks it. He rapes her again. Mary passes out kind of from shock and alcohol.
Right.
When she comes to, Singleton tells her to get out and lie on the edge of the road. She does as he says. He's rummaging around the car, comes back, and grabbing her left hand screams, "You want to be free? I'll set you free." He proceeds to cut off her left arm with an axe, and then her right. Screaming, basically she's telling herself it would be better if she could throw up and die. So she's basically in shock. Her body's just shutting down.
Of course.
Mentally.
Yeah. She's been yeah, I would imagine.
She was shoved down a steep embankment and stuffed into a concrete pipe, but she didn't die. Somehow,
she stepped in the pipe, or he put her in the pipe? What happened?
They said she was stuffed into a concrete pipe. So I'm guessing he stuffed her down there.
Maybe she was hiding?
He was hiding the body a little bit,
okay.
Or, at least the article I found. But she somehow, amazingly, gets, she probably was hiding for a while, and then climbs up the embankment, which sounds like not an easy feat, and just starts walking towards the freeway, and this is where My Favorite Murder does a really good job, just talking about how, she's terrified that every car, any car sounds could be Singleton coming back for her.
Yeah.
But she is discovered the next morning by a couple who had...
So he didn't come back? He just, left her in the pipe or whatever?
Yeah, he thought she was dead. He cut off both her arms. I mean, he probably thought blood loss would do the job for her.
And of the blood loss, I remember, just hearing them say, she had, put her... Well, she didn't have arms anymore because that asshole fucking ripped them off. But, she had put her, shoulders up or something, right? And so that had helped save her life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, when she was...
Is this right?
I think she kind of got stuff stuck in them, too. Kind of stopped the bleeding. But she also... Yeah, when she was walking along the side of the road, she kept her arms up. I don't think he cut them off above the elbow, but she kept them, bent up. So, it wasn't, the blood...
Okay.
Wasn't gonna, yeah, because she was naked.
Smart.
Holding her arms to slow the blood loss, keeping and to keep the muscles from slipping out. Things you don't think about. She walked almost 3 miles from where she had been dumped.
Did you say the muscles?
Yeah, because think about it. It's not gonna all stay in there if you cut off your hands.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
Yeah. To where she was found by that couple. They rushed her to the hospital where she was able to provide a detailed description of Singleton. And the best part, her sketch was so realistic, Singleton's neighbor recognized him and called the police.
That's amazing.
And, so she survives. Ready to get mad.
Yay!
You're gonna get mad about you're gonna get mad.
Okay.
So, under the ridiculously lenient laws at the time, Singleton was sentenced to just 14 years in prison, which was the maximum sentence allowed.
14?
Yeah, 14 years.
That seems like not enough for what he fucking did. Raping her twice and cutting her arms and leaving her for dead?
Yeah. Attempted murder. Sexual assault?
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. 14 years? She was 15 years old. This is horrible.
Yeah. Ready to get mad.
And didn't you say, earlier, he had, been violent before?
Yeah, he probably had some domestic abuse on his record as well from his ex-wife.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. So, get ready. After serving just 8 years and 4 months of that sentence, Singleton was paroled for good behavior.
Why? Like, I mean, okay, like, no, but I can't even. Like, that's not enough. Like, he needs to fucking serve the 14 fucking years that he got. He should be serving way longer. Like, that's like lenient 14 years. He should be grateful and fucking serve the full fucking time, not the 8 years and just be let out. That's ridiculous. How is that even the thing? I want to Google it.
It's a thing.
Like,
they changed the laws because of it. Yeah. Don't worry.
Really? Like, because of him?
I think because of a lot, like, this was a very public case, and also what happens afterwards.
Oh my god, there's more, okay.
Oh, there's more. Otherwise, this is a very short story. So 20 minutes and we're done. No, so before his release, his psychiatric evaluation read, because he is so out of touch with his hostility and anger, he remains an elevated threat to others' safety inside and outside of prison.
That was his psych eval and he was still let out?
Yeah.
He was still paroled?
Yeah.
Also, didn't you say, like, he had, like, a Jekyll and Hyde, like, relationship with alcohol? So, like, they're probably not allowed to have alcohol in prison. Like, seems like he has a substance abuse problem in addition to everything fucking else wrong with this asshole. Like, I don't know. I would not trust this guy out. How can... Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right, sorry.
I get it. I mean, I don't think... They say he's a threat to others inside and outside of prison.
Yeah.
Inside prison still. They're like, this dude's intense. He should not. And they're like, no, okay.
Okay, so at the time, you said it was like 1978? Late 70s, right? How old was he at the time? Like, of the Mary Vincent?
He was, like, middle-aged. He's probably like his 40s, okay. 50s?
Let's say 45. Let's say 40. Let's say 43. And then, so then it was like a year later he was put to trial and like sentenced or something?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably about a year.
Okay. So he's like 50-something when he gets out.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
On top of it, while incarcerated, he had written several letters to Vincent's lawyers in which he threatened her.
Are you shitting me? And he was let out?
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy.
Mm-hmm. So.
What state is this? This is California.
Yeah.
I live here.
Of course, after Singleton was paroled, Mary Vincent was terrified that he would come back and finish what he started. You know.
Yeah.
Like he threatened. So.
Right, or is anyone with trauma who, like survived this horrible thing? Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're gonna go into what happened to Mary afterwards. So.
Okay.
She survived, but for a while she didn't really feel like a survivor. She fell into a deep depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all her hopes and dreams of becoming a successful dancer were dashed because of her reconstructive surgery would not allow that. The way prosthetic surgery was at that point. They saved her arms, they saved her life, but it would make it very difficult to dance. On top of that, she's clearly suffering from deep PTSD. She shuddered at the very thought of that afternoon of her life. She had really bad nightmares, drifted from place to place, couldn't have a job. At points couldn't even afford to have her prosthetic arms fixed. So, not doing well. And on top of it, she ended up filing for bankruptcy. So she's clearly suffering a lot of PTSD and emotional duress from that and not getting help with that. Because PTSD was still in its infancy for research at that time.
Right.
In 1999, Mary said, "I never smiled once in 21 years.
Ugh. Fucking devastating.
Mm-hmm.
And she ran away. Why was she initially running away? Remind me.
Because her parents were getting a divorce, and she wanted to be by herself.
And after this incident happened with this asshole, like, did they reconnect at all? Like, her parents, did they support her?
I couldn't find anything that said about that.
Wow. Okay. Fuck. So she was alone.
Mm-hmm. She's given several interviews. She did the I Survived episode. So she's really taken ownership of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good for her.
Yeah. She did...
Like, reclaim the narrative, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Take that power back. So she ended up meeting a man called Tom, and they had a quiet wedding. And he's helped her a lot. She went on to have 2 sons and attended the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So she started to reclaim her narrative. I think she probably got some help. I'm gonna hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
Now she is a survivor and a victim's advocate, and she will she's now like willing to go speak publicly about that event in order to help prevent other young and impressionable teenagers from hitchhiking and being smarter. On top of it,
right,
she discovered a new artistic talent, drawing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So she said,
like, Tell me more, yeah.
Quote, "I couldn't draw a straight line even with a ruler. I would mess it up. This is something I woke up with after the attack, and my artwork has inspired me and given me self-esteem," end quote. So she...
Aw, that's, like, fucking amazing.
Yeah, so she's reclaiming her life in so many ways.
Yeah, like, from all, like, I mean, she's survived so much, not just fucking... Obviously, there was enough in the household so that she ran away when she was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then she experienced this, like, terrible fucking nightmare horror movie in real life unfolding in front of you, like, because you are that person experience with Larry Singleton. And then he's out. What was her reaction when he I'm sorry if you already said, what was her reaction when, he was, like, let out 8 years?
She was terrified he was going to come and finish the job. Like, she thought he was going to come back and kill her.
Oh, right. Fuck. Was there any other contact?
Yeah, we're going to go back to Larry. Oh, Larry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh. I just love... So what became of Lawrence Singleton following his release? Glad you asked. He moved to Florida... The home of all places crazy, Florida. Because Californian citizens shared their disdain of the thought of him being released back into their community. So.
Okay, alright. Well, at least there's that for California.
They kept, protesting, across the state. Some of the banners were, "Drop dead, Larry. Get the maniac out." And I think in Florida there were also protests, but they kind of snuck him in before people realized it, because they were like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? But yeah, so they got, Larry couldn't be in California, which is weird because his parole, like, I think they kept trying to figure out his parole situation, and when people found out, they were like, no, we don't want him here. So they'd protest, and they try to sneak him somewhere else, and they were like, no, he's horrible, like, we don't want him here. And that's why they had to sneak him into Florida.
Like, I'm all for rehabilitation, but this guy was not rehabilitated. Like, his psych eval was like, this guy's a danger to everyone, like, should not be released. Like, so this is not like a normal case where it's like, oh, he had good behavior and he was out, and like, why are these, fanatical people saying we don't want him in our communities? This guy was a fucking real threat who had not, repented or been rehabilitated or whatever. That's ridiculous.
No, and the thing he did was so horrible and so terrifying that I don't think anyone would hitchhike after that. Like, it's crazy.
And yet they did. I mean, there's so many crazy hitchhiking, like, true crime stories. I mean, now, of course, it's 2018 or whatever, and we're like, okay, you don't hitchhike except when it's authorized through Uber or Lyft. And, like, like, but back then, I mean...
Only authorized hitchhiking.
Only when, like, fucking a company is facilitating it. Jeez, but, like... Yeah, so it was not abnormal, is my understanding at the time. It was not abnormal. It wasn't like this kid was like, oh, I'm gonna do something fucking crazy. Like, I think it was like, oh, I'm gonna, like, the kindness of strangers kind of thing, and, like, let's just work on this social ideal. And yet it didn't work for so many people. Yeah.
Larry's been living in Tampa, Florida, and...
Still?
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
No, it's if he was still living in Tampa, never go to Florida again. And it's been a couple years after its release, and a painter calls the police after witnessing something gruesome through a window in Singleton.
No.
You want to guess? You want to guess what he saw?
I don't want to guess. You're just telling me. I don't know.
The caller said he saw a nude man. Why is he always naked when he does this? This is the question. Raised his arm again and again over a bloody body of a woman who was slouched over his couch. He told the police he heard, quote, bones crushing like chicken bones breaking, end quote.
Oh my god, that's fucking horrible. And this guy was so close, obviously. Or whoever. The woman, whatever, like, to hear the bones cracking. I guess call the police, call the police. Don't engage, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, you see a naked man, like...
That's fucking crazy as shit, yeah.
Yeah, like, beating a bloody woman, you're like, I'm gonna call the police, because I don't...
Yeah, this is bigger than me.
Yeah. Police arrive, they...
Holy shit.
Like, would you...
Oh, no, just saying. Just holy shit. Like, he did it again, like, basically.
He learned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, police arrived and were met by none other than Larry. I feel like calling him Larry diminishes him, and I enjoy it. So what was Larry doing when he admitted to the cops that it was his home and he's covered in blood? Also, is he still naked? Like, they don't answer this question. Did he put on pants? Did he answer the door naked in blood? Covered in blood?
Ugh. I don't even... Yeah. That's funny if he did answer it naked.
So... Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm not being articulate. I'm just, like,
Rage.
Making noises because I'm just so disgusted by this man. Like, imagining him naked and just thinking, well, at least the police are there, but also he's done it again, you know?
Yeah.
And like, they could have known that he would do this, right? I mean, the psychiatrist said that he would probably do this because he's a danger. Right, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, no, it's just pure rage, the fact that this monster, one, did it to someone so young first, and then two, attack someone else again. And you're just like...
Yeah.
So, who's inside? Unfortunately...
Yeah.
It is the lifeless body of Roxanne Hayes, a 31-year-old sex worker who had arranged a date with Singleton. So, you know, it just because she's a sex worker doesn't mean you get to kill her.
No. Yeah.
He had agreed to pay her $20 for sex, which I feel like is cheap. But I don't know how much sex costs, so I don't know.
But I wonder, I mean, maybe... I don't know much about sex work, like how the rates or whatever. But yeah, that does seem fucking cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, what her situation was. So sad.
Yeah. On top of it, she was a mother of 3, and
Ugh.
I know. He just orphaned probably 3 kids. And Singleton had stabbed her to death with a boning knife.
What's a boning knife? What's a boning knife?
Let's Google.
Boning knife.
Reviews.
Oh my god.
They don't look very big. About 5 inches? 5-6 inches?
Which makes it kind of, I don't know, would that be either way, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, like, if it was, like, a big, I don't know, like a broadsword, you'd die faster, you know? But if you were, like, stabbed to death with, like, a plastic fork... I mean, this is terrible. I mean, I'm... Okay. No, I think
it's long, but it's a single edge blade, so it's not going to be like a bread knife or a serrated knife, which would be worse because it's going to do damage in and out. This will do a little less damage, but I think he stabbed her a lot. I think there was a lot of stabbing happening.
Right. Right. That's what I'm thinking. Is like it had to take a lot of fucking pain.
He apparently was very angry. Who knows why? Maybe little Larry wasn't doing a good job.
Probably not. That's probably what it fucking was. I mean,
yeah.
That's how it is a lot of times, right? Especially when they're naked in these like violent sex crimes, right? They take it out of the woman, especially if it's like a sex worker.
Yeah.
Like, was he drunk at the time? Do you know?
No, they didn't say if he was drunk or not. I'm gonna guess no. He probably was having impotence issues with little Larry and couldn't do anything, and so he... I mean, you're right, that's normally what happens. They blame the woman, but it's like... I mean, it could have been drunk when it started and then kind of, like, rage-sobered up. Well...
Yeah.
Let's get back to Mary, who hears of Roxanne's murder, and she steels herself because she knows she's going to have to go face Singleton in court again, because he can't do this to another person. She goes, she knows what he's capable of. She wasn't even required to testify, but she had to. She felt like she had to.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good because she can attest to his fucking previous crimes and like be there in front of the people talking. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so she said, "I was raped. I had my arms cut off. He used a hatchet. He left me to die." End quote. Mary told the Sun courtroom as she pointed to Singleton with her prosthetic hook. So she's basically like, he's done this now twice, and he doesn't have any sympathy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The assistant state attorney, Jay Pruner, said the brutality of Singleton's attack on Mary and the violent murder of Roxanne are the reasons it was recommended that Singleton be sentenced to death. He said, quote, 20 years ago, Mary Vincent got into Singleton's van. Some 20 years later, Roxanne Hayes got into Mr. Singleton's van. She, unlike Mary Vincent, did not survive her meeting with Lawrence Singleton. And Singleton was sentenced to death row in Florida. But, like most of these cases, Singleton passed away from cancer in 2001. I think all the negative evilness inside some of these people just gives them cancer. You know? A lot of them die of cancer.
Yeah, it's also the length of the death, like being on death row. Like, I don't actually personally know what I think about the death penalty because I have feelings both ways, but like this is like a fucking serious crime and he needs to be gone from the streets. Like, and if he's gone because of cancer, like, I'll take that, I guess.
Yeah. However, for Mary, she said, quote, "I wanted to look into his eyes, but now I won't be able to find out whatever I was looking for. I feel like I was cheated again," end quote. So she was kind of mad that he didn't get put to death because she's like, she needed that closure. She doesn't know what it is, but she needed that closure when he died to know that, like, she put him there. She's like, you did not defeat me. You did not break me.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to kill me, and you failed, and you couldn't break me after that. But yes, that is the...
Which is why she's so amazing, right? I mean, because she, like, throughout all of this, she lost her dancing career and so much more, and she still remains, like, a strong person. Yeah, I mean, with the Larry Singleton thing, it's like his body took him, I guess, and not, like, any kind of sense of justice or whatever, which is disappointing, I suppose, especially from her, perspective, where, like, justice needs to be served. And it seems like in both cases he got out of it. Like, his sentence, like in California and in Florida. Fucked up.
I think it's more fucked up that he was able to do that again. Like...
Yeah. Like, leave California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I get why he left California, but he should not have been able to live on his own.
Well, leave the prison. Yeah, be paroled. Yeah.
But that is the story of Mary Vincent, a badass woman who survived a shit ton and told her attacker, fuck you, on every occasion.
I mean, and that's like, it's unfortunate that she had to go through that, but it's also, like, truly, like, amazing that she not only survived the basic fucking bodily attacks that he brought upon her, but then, like, faced him in court. That's super brave, that's amazing.
She had to face him in court twice, too. That's the, like, most ridiculous thing, is, like, the second time was not even for her own case. It was for him murdering someone else just as brutally as he tried to murder her.
She's like, I'll follow you in the same way that, I'll follow you as much as you follow me, or whatever. Like, I will follow you until I see justice served. So that's good.
Yeah.
Strength.
So, do you want to remind everyone, Linzi, where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm Linzi. My podcast is 33% Pulp. We are on Twitter, 33_Pulp. On Instagram, we're at 33Pulp. And, that's pretty much it. We read books in thirds. It's usually not true crime, but I love true crime, so I really love this story, and I think that you did a good job, Courtney. So thank you for sharing this story with me.
I'm glad.
And other people.
I'm glad. Yeah, it's a shorter one just because I didn't want to... Like, the details of that case are so hard to deal with. And I wanted to not go too in-depth into them because that's a black pit of despair. But yes, thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back... I'll be back next week with another guest, and there'll be some, I think I'm going to do my tip-off Tuesdays, the first one's for the guest as well, and it'll be really, really fun.
Chronicity, a state of prolonged duration, recurrent, habitual, chronic.
A new mini-series on chronic pain and illness by your friends Matt and Phil from Semi-Intellectual Musings.
We go beyond medical diagnosis to explore the often forgotten political, social, and personal sides.
You'll hear stories from extraordinary people overcoming extraordinary challenges.
Authors, entrepreneurs, volunteers, coaches, and caregivers.
They are so much more than their diagnoses, yet each have found ways to persevere.
You'll also hear some familiar voices from the indie podcast community,
showing that art, creativity, and passion are possible while living in chronicity.
These stories and more, starting April 1st at thesim.podbean.com.
Thank you for listening to The Cult of Domesticity. We are available on all podcatchers. On social media, we're on Facebook and Twitter at The Domestic Podcast, and Instagram at The Cult of Domesticity. If you have a topic request, information, or want to send us a recipe, please email us at thedomesticpodcast@gmail.com, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe and share with all your friends. Remember to stay domestic and cult-free.